Hey everyone, before we start the show, I just want to get some plugs out of the way. If you enjoy this podcast and you're into wrestling, check out the Nerds and Marks podcast or Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. If you're not getting your fill on movie and entertainment discussion, then check out the Entertainment Buffet podcast. If you want to dive into the world of video games, I highly recommend the Darkcast by my friends over at darkstation.com. Listen to them cover important topics and interview men and women from all over the industry. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hello everyone and welcome to Shelved episode 16. I am your host, Jeremy Meyer. Now, today is definitely one of my favorite scripts we've read for the show. Today we're talking about Alien vs. Predator. And this is one that I was looking forward to covering as soon as I started this podcast. And I sat down with my friend Eric Zisselman, who's definitely, you would recognize if you've been listening to the show. He's been on here for some of my favorite episodes, including Batman Year One and Spider-Man. And we talked about this. Alien and Predator are two of my favorite film franchises of all time. Like, anytime anything comes out revolving around those, I can't wait to watch them. I'm super excited for Alien Covenant, and I know it might seem early that we're doing this episode now, but I promise you we do have an Alien-related episode coming out when Alien Covenant comes out, so be sure to watch for that one. But yeah, today we are talking about Alien vs. Predator, which was one of the scripts. I put up a vote on Twitter, and this was the one that got second place in the vote, so I knew people wanted to listen to it, and that was super exciting for me because it's definitely one of the ones I've been waiting for. It's one of the early scripts I found, one of the first ones I wanted to talk about. And for the most part, I let people choose the scripts that we discuss, but for the next couple episodes are ones that I've actually been picking because, as much as I love learning new things about some of these scripts I've never heard of and things like that, I definitely wanted to cover some films that I really wanted to talk about. So, these next few episodes are definitely going to be ones that I picked out, and I'm super excited to talk about. And this one is no different. I really hope you guys enjoy this one. It's Alien vs. Predator with me and Eric Zisselman. And if you want to follow the show and keep up with what we're going to be talking about, be sure to follow us on Twitter and our Instagram at Shelved Podcast. I generally talk about what we're going to be covering on those. If you don't listen to the mini episodes, you can still find out what script we're going to be talking about. You can also email the show at shelvedfilmpodcast@gmail.com. Just in case you want to leave us any questions or comments, we'll read them on the mini episodes. We can have a little dialogue. If you've been enjoying the show, maybe there's something you don't like and you want to let me know. We'll gladly address that as well. And, definitely follow us on Instagram because I love to post the little hints at our next episodes there. But if you want to read the script for yourself, you can also find it on our Tumblr at shelvedfilmpodcast.tumblr.com, which I would definitely recommend reading this one to follow along. I mean, you don't have to. We definitely cover it all in the episode. But if you're an Alien and Predator fan, I would definitely recommend reading the script. But all right, let's just jump into today's episode, and we are talking Alien vs. Predator: The Hunt by Peter Briggs.
All right, buddy. Whenever you're ready to go.
I'm ready. So just to begin with, what's your opinion on these franchises, Alien and Predator? I mean, I know they're both pretty held up there. Where do you stand on them?
Well, I always kind of look down on mashups that don't seem too original.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that I could be kind of a prick when it comes to my taste, but that's why we're here, and it's more fun to listen to someone's opinion.
That's one of the reasons why I like having you on the list.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to really pull any punches. The first AVP was pretty cool.
I actually enjoyed the first one as well.
I thought it was a fun movie. I don't try and dissect too much because
the only complaint I really have on that movie is I wish it was R-rated.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
But other than that, I enjoy it.
I mean, outside of that, I don't know how it would be much different if it was R-rated.
Yeah. I mean, just showing more violence of people getting killed by aliens, because it's a lot of camera cuts away when somebody's getting killed and stuff like that.
I'm not a big fan of seeing the shadow of someone's head falling off.
It's like the only thing the sequel did right was there was a lot of gore and stuff like that.
I mean, the first Predator, the best in my opinion.
Yeah, it's classic,
fucking amazing. The AVP was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But AVP 2, is that what it was called?
Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
Requiem.
Yeah.
Wasn't crazy about it. I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through.
It's real rough.
And when I did watch it, I thought the movie was too dark.
It's very dark.
I can't see anything that's happening.
They were first-time directors, and they're special effects guys, is what they normally did. And it seemed like they just used all natural lighting. There's no fucking lighting in that movie.
Yeah, that I remember I had to close all the windows, the blinds, everything, just to fucking get a glimpse of a fucking alien.
I saw it in theaters, and even then I thought it was way too dark.
Really? Okay. Well, there were a lot of odd setting choices, in my opinion. It was like in the neighborhood.
Movie? Yeah. It was like a Colorado town or something.
Right.
Like that.
And I just remember a xenomorph is like on the playground or something. And, and I could barely tell what the hell's going on. I know
they had
a
chest burster come out of a child, though.
Then I missed that.
That's in the
I would
definitely.
I would watch that again.
And
was it a child or was it?
It was a child. It was like
and a pregnant woman.
And a pregnant woman.
I might have to pick that up again.
There are good moments in the second one, and all the good moments come when a predator is fighting an alien, because it's one predator in that movie versus the 3 in the first movie, even though the 2 get killed right away. And there's a lot of good scenes of him killing aliens and stuff, and that's kind of it. There's so many human characters that just don't matter, and they're just there to be killed, but we spend so much time with them.
Yeah, I mean, they're your typical cop?
Yeah, the cop's brother who's like a criminal, and then just like some family people and like the brother's girlfriend and a couple like high school kids, basically.
Yeah, I mean I mean, for the setting, I guess it works out with the small Colorado town.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was the second AVP. The first one was plenty for me. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of overlook that kind of stuff. But let's not forget about our guy Danny Glover.
Yes.
L.A. Predator.
I fucking love Predator too. I don't care what anybody says.
I haven't seen. I've seen parts of it. I haven't really sat down and watched it too much.
You've never watched Predator 2?
I mean, I've seen most of it. I got the gist of it, and I've seen him on the fucking spaceship, and he sees all the trophies. But it was just a bit too campy for me.
Oh, it's so great.
With L.A. Cop.
It's almost like Predator presented by Paul Verhoeven.
Who's that?
He's the guy who directed like RoboCop and Starship Troopers.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. Yeah, totally.
I don't know who. Actually, I think he did direct it. I think that's why.
Really?
I'm fucking
the same guy?
I am 90% sure Paul Verhoeven directed Predator 2. That's one that's kind of frowned upon for some reason. I never really understood it, because Predator 2 is one I watched a lot as a kid, and then when I got older, I just hear a lot of people talking shit about Predator 2. But personally, I fucking love Predator 2 and Danny Glover, and
he's always fun to watch. Danny Glover is one of my favorite.
And Bill Paxton was
old
in that
cops. Old cop actors.
Oh, so, absolutely.
He's. I've always said to my friends, if I ever get a dog, I'm gonna name him Briggs or Murtaugh. Or if we get both, names. They're perfect.
It was not directed by Paul Verhoeven.
Well, I won't let that leave my mind. We'll pretend that Paul did direct.
I want to say he was going to, or he did. He was involved in some way, and I guess didn't make it to the final movie.
Well, we live and we learn, huh?
Yeah. And then Predators, I don't know if you saw that one. I actually like it.
Yeah, you're bringing up all these Predators. I completely forgot about these movies.
Yeah.
I did see Predators in theater.
Yeah, me too.
Wasn't crazy about it. I
liked it. I don't know why. I like it.
I don't know. Something about insane Lawrence Fishburne. And Adrian Brody kind of just rubbed me the wrong way because he was doing like his best Arnold impression.
Yeah, he was like kind of putting on a Batman voice a little bit.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I bought him. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Adrian Brody, and they couldn't see past it. But
Sure.
I totally bought him in the role.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not gonna, on his how he looks and everything. I don't really care about that. But
they introduced their new like super predators, basically, and they talk about how there's like warring clans of predators, so adding to the lore a little bit.
Did they ever? I know that the Predator is an advanced technology tribe, though. Have they ever gotten into how the hell that happened?
No.
I mean, I don't know if you read any lore or anything about that.
No,
kind of
I mean,
stuff.
that's got to be out there somewhere, right? Like Predator R&D.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like predators in lab coats somewhere.
Right, that it must be.
I think the assumption has always been that they got the technology from a species they killed.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
they took over an
just
advanced
learned
society.
how to use it.
Okay,
basically.
yeah, I could definitely go with that.
But I mean, there's no confirmation on that. But I think among fans, that's kind of the accepted theory.
Okay, that's perfect because I never thought about it in that light. So
yeah,
absolutely, they came into it. They stole all the merchandise and everything. So that I'm into.
Yeah, like maybe some advanced race discovered them and then they killed them because they're hunters.
Totally.
And then they're like, oh, well, now we got all this cool shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that works out. But when they meet other humans, I guess, I guess combatants, they're okay with them. I mean, they meet other people in this movie, and they allow the humans to live.
Which is something that differentiates from the comic book that this is based on.
Okay.
So I did a little digging into like the history of Alien vs. Predator. Predator 2 came out in 1990, and that was the first Predator, Alien vs. Predator comic came out in 1989. So there was already the idea, both franchises were owned by Fox was the thing. So there was this idea of, hey, we have these two franchises, we can put them together. And they did it in a comic book. And that was the original Alien vs. Predator comic book, came out in 1989. Predator 2 came out in 1990, had the alien skull in the ship, which was kind of the thing that fans were, oh, look, they're in the same world or whatever. And then this script came out in 91.
Got it. Okay.
Basically, the only thing that was really out at that time was that comic book. So the script became an adaptation of that comic book.
Right.
But in the comic, there's definitely a lot more encounters of predators with humans, and because the predators are, for the most part, kind of off-screen a lot, kind of like the first Predator movie. It's like you're seeing through their vision and stuff like that. But there is the scene early on where the predators attack the human outpost or whatever, and the one guy gets away. That is pretty similar to a scene that happens in the comic.
I remember flipping through and kind of seeing that actual scene occurs. So that was pretty cool.
And I believe there are it's been a long time since I read it. So I think there are other occasions of them attacking humans as well.
Right.
But in this, it doesn't seem to happen.
Yeah, I mean, while I was flipping through it, I mean, very nonchalantly just seeing what I could pick up from when I was reading the script.
Yeah.
There were a lot of, I guess, parts in the comic when, I mean, you read it, but there was like a scene in the comic where the Predator is like in a laboratory, like strapped to a table. Almost.
Yeah, they get a dead one, and they think they do an autopsy.
It was dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember how it died. I think it died in the outpost attack in the beginning, which I think in the script one of them dies there too.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure one dies and they bring it back and they're like doing an autopsy on it.
I feel like that's left out in a lot of the Predator movies.
Yeah.
We never get one.
No, we don't.
And we need to learn more about the physiology of these aliens.
Yeah.
To,
and that was a big part of Predator 2 is they were trying to capture it.
Yeah,
with
you're
Gary
right.
Busey and his team.
Holy shit, Gary fucking Busey! Oh
Predator
my
2
god,
is so great, man.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, he went in there with his cold suit.
Yeah.
And did he have a chainsaw or something?
No, they have these like guns that they're trying to freeze them basically.
Yeah, it was a lot like fucking Arnold and Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so good. I fucking love Predator 2.
Man, I mean,
that movie gets shit on so hard.
Well, I understand why. It's campy as fuck. But hey, to each his own. And I get it. I really do.
Yeah, and for me, it was just the one I watched the most as a kid because my dad owned that one, but he didn't own the first one.
Yeah.
So whenever I was at my dad's house, I was just like, oh, let's watch Predator 2 again.
Yeah, no, the first one is fucking...
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's held in very high standards. Regardless, I don't care where it's going to pop on the TV. I'm going to ride it out.
You're going to watch the whole thing.
There you go.
Yeah, I've seen that movie more times than I can count. Yeah, so I guess we should start from the beginning.
Yep.
which that's probably a drinking game for this podcast every time I say that.
Okay.
That's my go-to line to bring us to the beginning of the script.
It's a good start.
Yeah. So the beginning of the script and the beginning of the comic are pretty similar in that it focuses on the predators.
Got it. Right.
Yeah, the main predator in the script, who is known as Broken Tusk, he's kind of a main character in the comic. Like, the comic follows him a lot more than this movie seems to.
Right.
But he's basically bringing this young batch of predators to this planet because they're going to hunt these aliens. And basically they're all kind of like dishonorable, and he's trying to train them.
Really?
Yeah. And like they fight with him. Like, basically everyone kind of hates him.
Hates Broken Tusk?
Yeah. So like,
he's such a good leader.
Basically.
Yep.
And I think they establish in like the predator culture that you fight to see if you can kill the leader. Hey, you're the new fucking leader.
It makes sense.
And it's a lot of people challenging him and him just whipping their ass in the beginning.
Sure.
This doesn't really have that, but it does follow Broken Tusk as he. The beginning, it's like them on a planet, and they kill a couple aliens,
right,
and one of the predators gets killed, and then they just they go back.
Right.
And then it shows that they have a queen on their ship, and they're catching eggs and sending them out onto planets. They're seeding worlds basically for them
which
to
is
hunt.
Fucking insane.
Yeah. It's something that's never really been touched on in any of the Alien versus Predator stuff. Is what was their first encounter and what makes them just want to send these things out to hunt.
Well, I remember in AVP, I guess they came when, actually, they're proof of ancient aliens right there.
Yeah.
So I know that they created some temple in Antarctica.
Yeah.
And they had a machine with the queen in the fucking
they kept it
in
frozen
the temple, frozen, and
yeah,
it was pumping out eggs every millennia or something when these guys came down.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that because that movie came out a lot further after than
2004 is when the movie came out.
2004 versus this movie
1990. 1991 is when the script is
right
dated.
So I mean, we see a lot of where they're taking a lot of the ideas from the script and putting it to this new movie.
There was actually a lawsuit. The
really?
Guy who wrote this script tried to sue Paul W.S. Anderson, who did the movie, saying that he stole ideas from him.
Understandable.
In which case, I will say, reading the script, we finished it today. There's a scene early in the end where a predator shoots a net on some aliens, and the net winds up.
Fucking awesome.
That was in the movie. There was another scene. Oh, what was it?
I mean, that's just an awesome tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
you can't sue him for that idea.
No.
I mean,
and the lawsuit ended up getting dismissed.
Sure.
Like, there was no grounds. And from what I understand, it was technically the same project, even though they didn't use the same script. So Fox probably owned the script, and they probably gave it to him. And if he wants to pull anything out of it, I'm sure he's within his right to do so.
Absolutely.
I really wish I could remember. Oh, it's the scene where they're in the hive in the end, and she finds the guy still alive.
Yep.
And he's like, kill me, and she won't do it or whatever.
Right.
That's
Alien
similar
comes up,
to the
slices
scene.
his ass.
Yeah, that's similar to the scene that actually happens in the movie.
Okay. Well, listen, that's going to happen in any fucking Alien versus Predator movie.
Yeah, you kind of get your greatest hits moments of Alien and Predator moments. You get the vision stalking with predators. You get the cloaking. You get the hanging skinned bodies. Yep. Them repeating the dialogue.
Yeah. Face huggers always popping out.
Yeah, with the Alien stuff, we definitely get the face hugger. We get the chest bursters. We get all that stuff.
Yep.
They do introduce something in this one, which they finally show how the aliens create their hive, which I don't know if you caught that. Cause,
they have some kind of tubes in their back.
Yeah, they always have the 4 tubes on their back, and basically they spit out their bile or mucus or whatever it is that creates the hive that we've seen in the movies.
Now tell me, I have this written down. Biomechanical alien, ?
Yeah, they've
Xenomorph,
always... Yes. ?
I assume they're one and the same.
Yes, they are.
But who is actually fucking creating these aliens?
I guess that's what Alien Covenant is going to show us.
Okay, all right.
So I will say, in the original script for Prometheus, the aliens played... The original script was called Alien Engineers. And
okay.
We're covering that script on the podcast for when Alien Covenant comes out. To spoil a little bit of that now, they do say that the engineers in the movie, instead of like the black ooze that's in Prometheus, it's aliens. Like, they were going to send a bunch of aliens to Earth instead of all this black ooze to kill Earth.
Okay.
And basically just swap out the black ooze for aliens in the Prometheus script, and it's implied that the engineers made them as like the ultimate weapon type situation.
Yeah, sure.
And the aliens have always kind of been referred to as kind of like, hey, these things are probably made by something just because of the design of them.
I suppose, killing a machine.
Yeah, it's kind of always been hinted that something created these.
Okay.
But, until Prometheus, it was never really touched on.
Oh, okay.
And even in Prometheus, they changed it in the final movie, and it's different,
Yeah, no, that's news to me. Very interesting stuff, because when I was reading this, I was constantly asking myself, how the fuck are these biomechanical? And obviously we're not getting too much in the script that we read.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the backstory with Prometheus, so I'm glad that you were able to shine some light on that.
And I guess the big question is, in Alien Covenant, we just got our traditional aliens, but it also looks like, I think if you watch the trailer, there is some sort of different kind of alien that's kind of white and almost transparent looking, which was, again, in the original script for Prometheus, the guy who the Shaw's boyfriend, the one of the main characters.
Yeah.
He ends up getting sick because David puts the liquid
he's got
in
the
his
thing
drink.
in his eye.
Yeah. Instead, in the script, he basically gets face hugged, but it's an early type of alien that comes out of him, and it's white and almost transparent and can kind of seep through cracks and doors and shit. Jesus. And I'm wondering if that's what's in Alien Covenant, because there's flashes of it in the trailer, but it doesn't show you a whole lot.
It's very cool.
So I think that might show up in Alien Covenant. But yeah, so we get introduced to our planet, which is basically just this backwater planet, and it's this outpost that they never really established what this outpost is.
We were talking about that. We didn't know.
Yeah, I think it's just a colony. They definitely seem to have some part of communications with the galaxy as a whole.
Right.
Because they mentioned they have a communication satellite, and if that gets knocked out, it's only kind of a minor inconvenience.
Right. They have, I guess, 36 hours before Marines will show up and check up on them and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah. So, and we're kind of just introduced to so many characters right out of the gate.
That was for sure.
The only one I really bothered to know was Hiroko.
Of course.
She's the main character.
Absolutely.
I knew it from the comics that she was the main character. Gutierrez is another character who seems to play a bigger role.
Yeah.
But it's a very diverse cast.
Yeah.
And it's
extremely diverse.
It's just here's 20 characters right out of the gate.
Yeah, they had just straight up Grease Monkey.
Yeah.
They just had character Grease Monkey.
Yeah.
It was,
and then on page 75, it's here's Matt.
Yep.
And this is his first time being introduced. And then there's another scene where they're in the command center on page 80. It's here's this old guy with a beard who we've never seen before.
Yeah. I was trying to picture in my head what this, I guess, what these platforms and everything in my mind, what it looked like. And all I could really think of was, I guess, the big shell from MGS2.
Yeah, that's not far off.
Obviously it's not in water, but there are multiple buildings, I guess, or...
it seems to be think of Aliens, Hadley's Hope was the colony in Aliens. So think of that, but more surrounded by jungle is what I would say. But they seem to have a lot of catwalks and things like that.
Yeah, a lot of fucking catwalks. And you were able to breathe on this atmosphere, right? It was the jungle.
Well, in the Aliens movies, and in Prometheus, this was actually a thing that was cut out of the original script, is terraforming has become a thing.
Okay.
I want to say because if you remember in Alien, they go onto the planet and they're wearing spacesuits. It's not breathable. Aliens takes place 50 years later, and she's like, you need to go there. That ship's there. These eggs are there. We don't need to go there. There's been people there for a long time. They've already terraformed the planet.
Okay.
So, it's just assumed that this would take place within the same universe as Aliens, and terraforming is a thing. So, if it wasn't breathable, it is now.
Yeah.
We get introduced to a couple characters in the beginning, Ackland and York, who are fairly important for the beginning of the script.
Right.
Because these are the guys who first encounter anything.
Right.
So the first kind of major thing going on is these machines that are carrying the eggs are rocketing towards the planet. And they're are these missiles? They pick it up on their radar, and they assume that somebody shot missiles at them.
Right.
And they're why would anybody do that? We're nothing.
Right. They thought they were missiles until the trajectory was consistently changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were moving, and they end up not really knowing what's going on. And these end up taking out their communications satellite and then crashing onto the planet. And it's like a robot that kind of just roves and drops eggs.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down. I I wrote down the Predator egg delivery system. Sounds pretty cool. Spider drops eggs. That's what I was picturing in my mind.
In the comic, it wasn't like a spider robot. It was like a little rover thing, and it just had like a conveyor belt that would lay out eggs.
Right. Yeah.
And this planet's implied to have like a ton of different kind of life. They constantly refer to like rhinos, which are just basically big cattle-like animals.
They look like rhinos in the comic.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ackland and York kind of find this crash site, and Ackland is immediately face-hugged. He's the first, to kind of fall victim to it. And he's really the only one we see it happen to. Because honestly, you don't see aliens for a really long time in this script.
Yeah.
Like, you see them in the beginning. Like, in the very beginning, you get a scene with aliens and predators fighting. And then it kind of plays like a traditional Predators movie where it's a lot of the Predator stalking the humans and stuff.
Predator point of view.
Yeah, and then nothing, like it's just kind of the characters waiting for all hell to break loose, which it eventually does.
Right.
But yeah, we do get, so the first couple Predators find York and Ackland and a couple other people at this facility.
Right.
And they kind of just start fucking them up. And it's the first hint of anything going on. But at this point, there's no communication, so they can't contact the people at like the main base or whatever. And I'm trying to think. Oh, Cayman. Okay. Ackland, York is like trying to save him, basically. But he ends up...
He was trying to pull him to the, I guess, his hover bike?
Yeah. Well, he's trying to pull him... I think he was trying to pull him into the building, because that's where they end up finding him.
Right.
And... that's when the Predators kind of just started. So they have like a sentry gun set up. I actually thought this was a cool scene. They have like a sentry gun set up, and it's like, automatic scanning. And I guess it picks up a cloaked Predator and shoots it, standing like right next to this girl who's just kind of like, what the fuck? And it kills it.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, it seems like it died. And yeah, then like the other Predator kind of comes in and starts attacking.
Right.
And York is really the only one to get away.
Right. He hops on his bike, and then they fucking stab it through the hoverboard.
He throws a spear, and it gets stuck in his speeder as he takes off.
Right. And then, I remember that. Sure.
Yeah. And then Hiroko and this other guy, Cayman, who I can't remember any significance about him. Did he have some sort of relationship with another character?
Yeah, Cayman was the head mechanic, and him and Hiroko were pretty tight.
Yeah, so they kind of come out to see what's going on because of the crash site, and they lost contact with this outpost. And this is when they find Ackland.
Right.
And they bring him back to the camp. He's
still got the fucking hugger on him.
I think it's off.
It's off?
It's dead in the corner, but he's like really out of it.
I was under the impression that they brought him into like the lab, and then when they walked in, the thing was off in the corner, and he was
I have in my notes, they find the aftermath of the battle. They find the skinned bodies because the Predators.
I remember that. Sure.
Which I always forget about until it happens in the movies. That's for some reason that's just something I never remember.
They're taking the skin as a trophy, I assume, but
I don't know
because the
skull is always the trophy. I don't know why they skin them. Maybe to like dry
Well, they need the skull, so that's why they skin them.
Yeah, well, they usually come back for the skull because in multiple times of the movie they show a body hanging, and then eventually they show him taking the skull.
You
that's
can't
one
really
thing they
be
never
running around with a skull. I mean, unless it's attached to a belt or something.
Well, they have a scene later where they have like spikes set up by the landing site where they're just putting alien heads after they kill them.
Yeah, there were times when it just like popped back into the script, and it was like Predator 3 is placing xenomorph skull on
like a spike or whatever.
Okay.
It's like,
of course. What else would he be fucking doing?
They're gonna come back for that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it says they have him with the skin bodies. The alien facehugger's dead and a scared Ackland. So he was awake, but he was kind of like, what's going on?
Right.
He has like no memory of what's...
Yeah, that seems to be the formula for every alien movie where everyone's fine. What the hell? I mean, what do you think is going on? Like, there's some kind of like antiseptic going on when...
Yeah, you just
are
assume...
they asleep? When the facehugger attacks you just go to sleep, and it's fucking...
It's been a long time since I've seen the original Alien movie because it's
I
really slow.
I didn't see it too long ago.
But do they give him any kind of checkup or anything after that thing comes off his face?
I know that they definitely keep the facehugger like in a fucking tube, or like in a vial or a large vial. But it's always the patient says, "No, I feel fine. Everything's okay. Yeah, no, I feel great." Or I'm just a little drowsy. how the fuck is a scientist be like, no, you're not. You're number one. You're being quarantined. You're not gonna be. You're not leaving.
You just had a fucking
anywhere.
alien on your face.
Right. We've never seen this fucking thing
died.
before, and who knows what it did to you.
Yeah. They don't even think about it.
And this is 500 years into the future, probably. We have a good idea of what these
I think
some kind of animals do.
If we could take an X-ray now, we could probably take an X-ray then and see, hey, there's something inside of you now.
Yeah, we'll let that slide. But
yeah.
I always think about that when they just let the fucking dude that was just victimized by a face hugger just walk away and be like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. Let's just fucking have some lunch when he's sitting there eating at Alien, and then bam, it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's never made sense.
They're all fucking scientists. Why aren't they fucking? Why aren't they thinking?
Yeah. Well, at least in the first movie, they're basically just like truckers, you know?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
But like in this movie, there's definitely scientists.
Right.
They have a med lab.
Yeah, of course.
Which is where they bring them,
That
which is
shit
to the med lab.
doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I get it. It's part of those things to let's keep the story moving. And the only way we're going to allow something to burst out of his fucking chest is if we ignore the fact that it probably impregnated his stomach.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it would take away from stuff, and next thing you know, the guy's just, no, we're going to put you in this coffin for now, and you can fuck off.
But I will say, I do always enjoy the chest burst scene.
Of course.
And this one has a pretty great one.
Yep.
Because he's in the med lab, and he's basically just like, yeah, I'm fine, you know? And he starts having a cough, and he's like, oh, I got indigestion. And then he just is like for a second, he's like perfectly calm.
Yep.
He's like, no, I'm good. All of a sudden, he just starts like hyperventilating and he falls on the floor.
Didn't he like cough up blood or something?
Yeah, he like coughs because the nurse or whatever is with him, and he like sprays her with blood.
That's real. I'm fine.
Yeah. And then like immediately. But what's interesting in this one is it actually comes out of his back because he falls onto his back.
Yeah. I thought that was very cool. The way it came out from under him.
Honestly, the thing's just going to eat its way out whichever way. You know, there's nothing that says it has to come out your chest.
Yeah, no, I thought that was very cool when it bursted out of his back, and then you could see like some of the ribs fucking, protruding out.
Yeah, and they talk about like, oh, he's laying on his back and like blood just starts coming out from under him.
Right.
And then the thing crawls out. And then this is also the first time we have a chest burster actually kill somebody, because the chest burster kills the nurse.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Never happened before. Usually they just run away.
Yeah, the first Alien always I always laugh at that because it's so hilarious to see this little fucking puppet just dart away, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Honestly, Spaceballs has killed it for me because of the fucking top hat and cane, and he dances across the table.
Sure, that makes
like honestly, the chest burster thing is totally ruined for me. But like this would be something that could bring it back. It actually leaps at this woman and kills her.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather someone's laying down and next thing you know, just pools of blood start pouring out. You're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then it just falls out instead of bursting out.
Yeah.
That would be really different and a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, and this is also a thing, like you can imagine the time frame between the attack to the chest burst scene, it's actually an extended period of time. A lot of people complained in the first Alien vs. Predator movie. It's like, oh, it seems like those people get face hugged and then chest bursted in like 12 minutes. And like the explanation was like, oh, well, these are like all genetically altered aliens for the hunt, so they would mature faster, so the predators would have something to hunt, movie bullshit.
Right.
But yeah, this, it takes that into effect and it makes sense. I have in my notes second dog death. Oh,
there were two?
No, because this is the second script we've done that has a dead dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because we did.
Well, the first one was it seemed a lot worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, another dog getting bitten. Do you even remember how it happens?
No. I assume some alien just grabbed his ass and popped him in his mouth or something like that.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. I wrote something here. Brewster equals dead dog. That's not too much.
Yeah,
there.
Brewster was the dog.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I think he gets killed by the alien.
I'll tell you, I have this other thing written here. It says, having taken on the genetic characteristics of its host, many of them are non-humanoid.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused by what I read there because it kind of.
So you remember Alien 3 where it's more dog-like because, well, in one version of the movie, because there's two versions, it face hugged a dog.
Okay,
and in another version,
I'm not huge on Alien 3, but I remember
I think
Ripley's shaved head.
Yeah, I think Alien 3
Planet.
I think it's a little underrated. I like Alien
underrated.
3.
Okay.
I like Alien 3. It was David Fincher's first movie. I mean, that movie was riddled with behind the scenes problems.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look at what year Alien 3 came out because this might actually be the first reference to aliens being different depending on what they. So Alien 3 came out in 92.
There you go.
So this is even before then. So in Alien 3, it's more dog-like because it was attached to a dog, or I think it was an ox in the director's cut. But
yeah.
So that's why it's, on all fours, kind of like an animal.
Interesting.
And yeah, this script mentions that like the aliens are different depending on if they were attached to a rhino or a human or whatever.
That's why I was kind of like thrown off by that.
Yeah. It's really the only time they reference it. Mm-hmm. Like they just say that because like once shit starts happening in this script, it's like all out war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like literally it's a whole lot of nothing going on.
Right. It was, when it got to the war part, it was kind of tough to even just reading it on the page because so much shit is going on.
Because basically everybody, like York shows up at the facility and they got him locked away because they don't know what's up with him. And then this chest burster comes out of this guy and then they're searching all over the complex for it. And then that leads to the first attack by an alien, and then all of a sudden they're just swarming everywhere.
Yeah.
And at this point, we haven't seen a predator in probably like 20 or 25 pages.
Which is interesting because I know that there's probably more than 8 or 9 of those fuckers roaming the planet.
Yeah, they seem to imply there's at least a handful.
Yeah. Through the comic, that's all I saw. We had our main predator with maybe like 7 dudes behind him.
Yeah, in the comic, I think there was a lot more, and they all die pretty quickly.
Sure.
And it just ends up being him. And
right.
That's kind of what ends up happening in the movie.
Right.
But yeah, for the first portion here, it's just aliens just mowing down people and everybody trying to escape. And it was a really fun, entertaining scene, or series of scenes, because it's just everybody like fighting back, trying to kill them, getting murdered,
and then eventually, a lot of death.
Yeah, eventually we got a group locked in the command center and a group locked in the auto shop.
Right.
And this is when the predators kind of come in. They just drop in and just start murking aliens left and right.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed all this. They talk about them just like back to back shooting down aliens and cutting the ones that are getting close, and it's like some real awesome action going on.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like that a lot of the scenes are going to be a lot of fun if this movie came out.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll talk about if this movie came out later on, because I mean, or I guess I could just say it. I would have loved to have seen this movie. Like,
yeah.
I think they could take this script and make this movie today. And just be like, hey, we're going to do one more Alien versus Predator movie. It's going to take place in space, what everybody's always wanted since they started those.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'd have to change much. Like,
well, is it taking place in space if it's on this planet?
I mean, yeah, it's on another planet. It's not Earth is the whole thing.
Right. No, I'm just breaking it up semantics wise, seeing how that floats. Yeah, dude. I mean, you were saying that there were a lot of characters. You said that they got stuck. We had the auto body shop.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
The command center.
The command center. Like we were talking about earlier, there are characters like Parsons, Cassie, Cayman, Thomas, guys that just show up. Who's the grease monkey? You know, I mean, these guys are just throwaway guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the only characters that really matter are Hiroko, Gutierrez, and Cayman.
And Broken Tusk.
Yeah, and Broken Tusk.
Yeah.
There's like a couple other human characters that are along for the ride. And I will say the script is way more optimistic than your average Alien vs. Predator movie, because there's actually quite a few survivors by the end.
Definitely. I had it written here. These so-called scientists are fucking up the aliens.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Like,
well, I mean, do they ever say that they're scientists?
Well, I guess that I wouldn't. That's me just, I guess, projecting professions on these people.
I mean, obviously, Grease Monkey's a grease monkey.
Right, of course.
I don't think they ever really say what these people do. There's no real description of what goes on this colony.
Yeah, I feel like beyond Hiroko, I think that she is some kind of almost mercenary type, like with a military history background.
I mean, when we're introduced to her, she's like practicing with a katana with holograms.
Yeah, I had to reread that just to be like, what the fuck am I reading right now?
Which is a fun scene that comes up later when she's in that room again and an alien's like cornering her, and she calls up the hologram.
I was happy that made
that was a fun
comeback.
little callback. And it was a fun scene that, like, you know, we've never seen an alien get confused by a hologram before, so that was kind of fun.
You know what's interesting? When I read it, I thought, hey, that's fun. I'm glad we're calling it back. Yeah. But I feel like I'm so much more skeptical when I'm sitting there and you're presenting it to me. So if I was to see that, I'd be like, oh, God, here we go. Of course they had to fucking have a callback. I just feel like my my psyche is so different when I'm reading the script versus like it's a book to me,
Yeah, it is.
Versus me seeing it on screen.
This one had enough text that it almost was like a book.
No, exactly. I just feel like that there's a lot more. Once you take the words and try and visualize it, a lot of shit could get fucked up. Like in my imagination, obviously my imagination, your imagination, it looks amazing. It sounds great. But when you see it up there, you're kind of, for me, I guess, I'm kind of annoyed that, of course, they called it back. Of course, there's ninjas happening right now.
I mean, I guess this is the challenge of like, because the script obviously goes to a lot of different people in the movie set. You got to have your director, your actors, and you're like, you got to think like some of like the actors, all they have to do is they have to read their character. And that's all they have to care about.
Right.
But then we got like set designers and concept artists who have to read this and then somehow envision it.
Right.
And I couldn't imagine doing that job with a script like this, because I've definitely read some script like the Alien Engineer script was one of the first scripts I ever read. So I was totally new to the whole script reading business, and I had no trouble reading that one. But I read this one and I'm like, I can't follow what this guy is trying to describe. All I need to know is they're in the sewers. I don't need to know.
No, absolutely. There were so many times that I was just like, all right, catwalks, fucking twisted metal, of course. All right, keep it up. Give me some dialogue or something.
Yeah. And this script is pretty dialogue light.
Yeah,
so
very dialogue light.
Yeah, and that's not my preferred. Like when I write my scripts, there's a lot of dialogue.
Of course.
Just because, like, to me, like, it's different in first drafts, I feel. In first drafts, people will get a lot more descriptive because they're very specific on what they want. And then the studio will come in and be like, you don't need this, you don't need this. Like, when you're more vague, that gives the director and the set designer and all that stuff more freedom with this kind of stuff. So I never really understood the idea of let's define everything down to a T.
Yeah,
and
I know where you're coming from.
I mean, it definitely seems more of a thing in older screenplays. 'Cause, I mean, you read the stuff from like some of the stuff I read from like a few years ago. It doesn't happen as often,
right?
But yeah, that's something it's hard to get lost. And like I said, I don't need to know sewer junction A, B, or whatever. Just like they're in the sewers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there was a lot of, when it comes to an action movie like that, I mean, we're talking about how it's light on dialogue, but it's not like we could fucking throw in just throwaway dialogue anyways. I mean, this is an action sci-fi movie.
Yeah, and a lot of it's built on suspense, just like an Alien or a Predator movie would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would definitely say the best part is when all the action is happening at the end. And like there's a really great Predator death moment where like one gets like pulled into a grate and then two like shove their tails into his body and kill him and stuff.
Yeah, I remember one where he throws his arm up and the fucking stinger comes through his arm, through his head. And I was like, oh, fuck. No, that sounds pretty sweet.
I really loved like the descriptions on like them fighting and them taking out the predators.
Yeah, I mean, reading it here, it seems like a lot of these fight scenes are even more action and suspenseful than AVP, what came out.
Absolutely. Like, there's not a ton of fight scenes in that first Alien vs. Predator movie. Like, the ones they have there are decent.
Right.
Like, the first time you see an Alien and Predator fight, it's a pretty great moment. But again, it was something the sequel did a lot better.
Right.
Like, the action scenes in the sequel were a lot better. They were just hard to see because that movie's so fucking dark.
Right.
And then you had to sit through so much boring shit just to get there. Because it's almost, I think it's almost like a 2.5 hour movie.
Get the fuck out of here.
It might not be that long, but it's over 2 hours, and it does not need to be that long.
Yeah. No, I mean, it should be what, hour 30 minutes?
Yeah,
I think 40.
I think the first one's only like an hour 34 or something like that.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense, you know. And I always enjoy how well, I guess I don't know if enjoy is the right word for it, but how humans are always in the center of this, and obviously we can't have a certain aliens, you know, having a conversation, which I think it would be pretty cool if we had some kind of captions for predators.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I don't know. That's
I want to say like like fans and stuff like have a name for their language and things like that.
Clicking and
and like the writing of it, like on their wristbands and stuff. It has those, like, dashes and stuff.
Yeah,
I want to say people are out there that like translate that shit.
Well, sure. No, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, everyone's fucking translating some kind of fucking nonsense.
And like they gave like the species has a name of like the predators. It's something I can't pronounce. It sounds something tribal.
Yeah.
But.
No, I hear you. I mean, Predator, it's a very cool idea for this alien. I always enjoyed it. But it would be interesting just to I guess, have it written down, but then they'll take away from, their facial expressions and everything like that.
It is like, because even you think back to the first movie, like when he teams up with the girl, which is something that happens.
Right.
I heard when that movie came out, I heard a lot of people complain about that, and I was one of those people like, hey, they did it in the comic book.
Whatever.
Yeah, and it makes sense enough. Like they're kind of the traps together, and she has proven herself a warrior. So
I get
hey,
it.
why
Could
not?
have been fucking anybody. So whatever.
But I totally forgot where I was going with that.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I definitely remember people complaining about that. To me, it never bothered me. And there actually is a sequel comic book that brings the character back as well.
Hiroko?
Yeah. Because
I'm glad she came back.
Yeah, we'll discuss that when we get there. So we have our humans in our two groups, and the whole idea is, there's like a crane on like one of those cranes on rails that can pick up the section of the command center or whatever, and bring everybody. This stuff was really confusing.
Yeah, that was some of the stuff that I was like, okay, I get it. You're gonna try and fucking do the claw machine on your office, hopefully.
Yeah, because it sounds like the modules can be moved around the base.
Right.
So they're gonna pick up the command center module, and then everybody in the auto shop is basically just gonna drive a car out of there.
Right.
And they're all gonna,
a big car.
Yeah, and they're all gonna meet up at the helipad and get out of there.
Right.
Which for the most part goes off.
Sounds like a sound plan to me.
And it goes off pretty smoothly.
As long as Hiroko does her job.
Yeah, so her thing is she has to do the Bishop moment from Aliens, where she has to climb through the sewer pipe. And again, this was all getting pretty confusing because it was like
I was like, all right, just keep going.
It's like, just say you're in the sewers. They're going through all this shit. It's like, I can't follow what's going on.
Right. I need to see what's happening.
Yeah, essentially she's traveling from the sewers to like basically out of the base, and then she's going to take a speeder and go to this crane, and because it has to be manually operated.
Right. Of course, no other way.
But in doing so, she stumbles upon the hive. Which the hive moments are always some of my favorite moments. Like in Aliens in the very beginning when they go into the hive is my favorite moment of that movie. So I always love this stuff. And they keep talking about this like sack thing that's pulsating. And I'm going to get into this, how I feel like the end of this movie goes a little over the top.
Okay.
And maybe one step is unnecessary. But so she gets out to the crane. She runs into a little bit of trouble along the way. Like an alien comes out. We do get a couple good moments of her on the speeder with like an alien on top of it.
Yeah.
And like, I thought that was kind of fun. Like the idea of her going through. Basically, I picture the speeder bike from Star Wars, but like, a little more heft to him. So like a body. And it's kind of like on the front, and she slams on the brakes and it flies off or whatever. And then when she is on her way back, it happens again, but one's on the bottom and trying to crawl up and just like some solid action scenes.
Totally.
And she ends up crashing the bike and getting stuck. And I just she becomes like a fucking badass. Like so basically everybody ends up getting to safety with relatively no issue.
And they're all just smoking cigs and having conversations waiting for Hiroko.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, if I don't get there, just take off without me and blah, blah, blah. Because she falls behind. And she ends up just like, she's all fucked up because she crashed and these aliens are coming after her. And then we cut to her just running through basically their town, like across the rooftops and shit. And she's like gunning at them. Then she's out of ammo and she blows some up. And then she's fucked. Like she has no ammo. Yeah. She's stuck. And they're coming in on her.
Who shows up?
And then Broken Tusk.
Of course.
Which is great because it's like one's right in her face and like the mouth is opening, like that classic shot.
And then bam.
And then his fucking face gets cut off with like the fucking blade.
Yeah. Real quick, can we talk about how much fucking blood must be fucking everywhere and all these people must be burning? Like... the amount of people, the acid blood, the amount of people or aliens that Hiroko or the Predator killed, just slicing off faces, it's just full of acid.
Like, how is everybody just not getting burned?
How is... I mean, I've seen in the movie when they cut the fucking tail off, it's like it shoots fucking acid just everywhere, dude. Just a tiny bit on your fucking skin and you're done.
I think they always say that their blood is like pressurized, so it always like explodes out when it
makes
comes
sense.
Out. Yeah,
no, totally. In their exoskeletons that they have. Yeah,
and they talk about predators fighting them hand to hand.
I don't understand that. I mean,
and they never really mention them getting burned. Like people definitely get burned by the alien blood throughout the script, but there's actually a really great scene where these guys are in a vehicle and one's on top and they shoot through the roof and kill it.
Yeah.
But then the blood starts dripping in.
Yep.
And that's and
then
really
it goes
great
through
scene.
the grating.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me how more people are just in the script. And then Kamen was screaming for his fucking life because he had alien blood all over him.
Yeah. Yeah, because he gets his ankle or like his leg fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of scenes of them talking about hand-to-hand combat, and she gets a spear at one point. Like, how is she not getting burned?
I don't know. I thought it was interesting that they refer to the aliens with metal claws and metal teeth almost.
Yeah, they always talk about how it's kind of like metallic. I think it's meant to like resemble metal, and they're not actually metal.
Okay, all right. Because I mean, with the biomechanical aliens, I mean, I could understand them. It's some kind of
like basically
alloy.
they're as strong as steel.
Okay,
is the impression that I get.
Yeah.
Again, it's something that's never really been touched on in any of the expanded media that's out there. So, I mean, maybe Alien Covenant might answer these questions.
Hey, let's hope so.
I'm fucking so excited for that movie. But, so we finally get Hiroko and Broken Tusk kind of teaming up. And his first thing is he just wants to go to the hive.
Yep.
And she's like, I just got out of there. Like, what are you smoking? I am not going back there.
He's just like pointing at it and clicking and I need to be there.
Yeah, he just goes.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't understand, it's like, do you really just want to go there and fight more? Is that what it is? But what he's doing is he's going there and he finds one of his dead predator buddies. So they go in and they see a bunch of people strapped up, as you do. But one thing that they didn't do that I thought they would touch on is they mentioned that the predator had his chest bursted out already. So I was like, oh, are we going to see a pred alien in this? But never happens.
Come on, my dick could only get so hard.
Well, they did it in the second movie.
Right. But I mean, I don't remember too much. So yeah.
Yeah, but I felt like that should have been so. The whole thing. So we see the queen, and what he does is he activates the dead predator's wrist bomb because he's going to blow up the hive.
Right.
And when they're on their way out, that sack that we saw before turns out hatches another queen.
Yeah, an adolescent queen.
Yeah. And to me, this is the moment I think is just like, why? You don't need a second queen. Just have that first one wake up and come after them, just like in Aliens, you know, and kind of every other fucking alien and predator property that's ever been out there. I didn't see the need to like have this younger queen.
No, you're right. I would just think that it's one of those fucking visuals. How could we, more bang for our buck? Yeah,
and it's also like if you're going to establish that a predator had an alien come out of him at some point, why not use the pred alien instead?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like we said, the genetics, they're not always humanoid.
Yeah, so
they take on their host a little bit.
Yeah, and this is so. They're escaping the hive. This queen is coming after them, and so I got a little sidetracked here. They get separated, right?
Yeah.
And he's like climbing up this tower as aliens are coming after him, and she gets in like this helicopter thing that they've used throughout the script,
right?
And he's on top of this tower, like taking out aliens or whatever, and this queen is coming up after him, and he jumps on the helicopter as the place explodes,
right?
And then the queen follows suit, and they're basically fighting inside of it. And what he does is he grabs a pulse rifle, and this is the first time I've ever seen a predator use a gun, from as far as I can remember.
Okay.
I mean, aside from their shoulder cannons.
Right. No, I know where you're going.
Yeah, and I love the moment he goes to pull the trigger and he can't because his fingers are too big. So he grabs the fucking brace that's in front of the trigger and just rips it off.
Yep.
And oh my god, can't believe I didn't make a note of what he says, because we get another predator trope of him speaking.
Yeah, no, there was actually I believe like two of them where, oh my god, I'm sorry, I can't even I'm looking here, but I'm not even searching.
I mean, so
anything.
The queen is like hanging on to the helicopter, and he basically says something like "come get some" or something like that.
Something like "bad motherfucker." Okay, so we'll get to the second one, but he says, where is it? Not holy shit. Chew on this.
Yeah. Which is fucking dumb.
I mean, did that happen earlier in the movie?
I think it did. I think there was a moment where somebody said it, and it was like, they show the predator watching him. I didn't remember, but it definitely feels like a callback, so I can't 100% say somebody said that earlier in the script. But the way it's presented, I feel like it was something that happened earlier that they're making a callback. It must be,
because I know that these guys don't know English. They're picking up on
they always
things
repeat
like
things, like in Predator 2 when he calls him a motherfucker. And,
right. Or the Predator 1, ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
Best fucking line.
Yeah, it's fucking Predator 1 is so great. So yeah, he shoots the fucking queen with a gun, like a human, which is weird, and it falls down into the fire and blows up. And again, this is a thing where they go one step too far, I think.
Okay.
So the helicopter like crashes, right? And she's like helping him out of the thing, or they work together. They saved each other. They're brothers in arms.
Okay. Yeah.
And he gets killed right away.
Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Well, not right away. Okay, so he gets attacked right away.
Under the assumption it's a good killing.
It is a good moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because another regular ass
somewhere
alien just hung around.
Yeah.
Which again, like, how are you gonna have this like supposed epic encounter with a queen, and then we end off with just like a regular alien? This should have been a pred alien.
Sure.
This is where they could have brought it back. Yeah. So it like basically slices his neck.
Yeah. No, I thought it like
stabbed him through the neck.
Yeah, like
from behind.
It used its fucking face stabber went through his neck.
Oh yeah.
Out his throat.
I thought it was his tail.
Or maybe you might be right. Yeah, I think it was his tail went through his throat. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was
Regardless,
one of those two.
yeah.
So she's like fighting this alien one-on-one. She grabs this disc razor thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That could have been cool.
I mean, we have to suspend our disbelief here.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, it's this crazy sci-fi movie. But I do like the idea, because I mean, it's not that different from when Danny Glover hand fights a predator in Predator 2.
Right.
But it's an alien. Aliens are definitely not something I feel like somebody could take hand to hand.
No fucking way.
Those things are fucking wild monsters, and they move, and they always talk about how fast they are and shit like that. That's not something I see anyone taking.
It would pounce on you, and then you're fucked.
Yeah. And it basically comes to she can't hold her own.
It did pounce, and she fucking did some kind of arcing stab, which is a callback to, of course, her Ninja Hologram moments.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, it was the end scene. You got to get some closure for our girl, Hiroko.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, and basically it comes down to she's losing, and the thing's about to kill her.
Right.
And old homeboy still got the gun.
Yep.
Just pops a couple of rounds into him.
Okay, I was under the impression that he blew like his fucking head off.
Yeah,
kind
basically
of.
Like
again.
Yeah,
blood like fucking everywhere.
Yeah, you would think.
And she's holding like an alien up.
But you got to think it's probably going to go sideways. Like
I don't care.
It's facing her.
It will go sideways. I don't disagree. It will go sideways, but we're gonna have at least 5% dripping down on her throat or on her chest, and she will fucking feel that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she saved him at one point. Now he saves her, and he dies.
Right.
And we get our...
He does die.
Yeah,
a hero's death.
Yes. Broken Tusk. He's the badass. But yeah, so we get our ending where the Marines finally show up.
Yeah, late as fucking usual.
Done, and but a Predator ship comes to them.
Right.
And they're taking Broken Tusk, and they give her the spear.
Right.
Right, as a reward, which again happens in the Alien vs. Predator movie. And in Predator 2, they give him the gun, as tradition. And so she's kind of left at this moment where she's looking at the Marine ships, and then the Predators are inviting her on board.
Well, yeah, I don't know if inviting, but I mean, she was kind of confused. They were just like waiting for her, for her to make the move. I was also, I mean, I'm not reading ahead to that part, but I was wondering what the fuck is she could give to this Predator, which I assume is some jacked leader or someone who's the captain of the ship.
Well, so to narrow it down, she gets on the Predator ship,
right,
and then leaves with them, and the movie just ends. So the sequel comic it follows her character, and she just goes and lives with the Predators, and she's hunting with them, and she basically becomes a warrior with them.
Yeah,
but it's like everyone hates her because she's a human, and she
plausible.
was there when Broken Tusk died, and she's holding her own, but it's definitely one of those things like, I'm not going to be able to hold my own here forever.
Right.
And the sequel, it's been a long time since I've read it, so I don't remember all the details, but it eventually ends up being that she ends up rejoining humans, and also all the Predators get killed.
Okay, what happened to the Predators?
She kind of betrays them.
Okay, she leaves a bomb or something, and then
I don't remember. I think because I think it is an Alien and Predator comic.
Uh-huh.
So it is. I think it's like she basically strands them on a planet with a bunch of aliens.
Sure.
Like as they get on this planet, and she's with the Predators, and then she finds these other humans that are there, and she decides to team with the humans because like going with her own kind, you know, because the Predators are killing the humans too. So she's not all about that,
right?
And basically, yeah, they end up, I believe, stealing the Predator ship and leaving them there to fend themselves with the aliens. So essentially killing them.
Right. Well, that's some good closure for that for that end, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, they definitely could have done that as a sequel, and I remember that sequel book actually being pretty good. I think I actually like the sequel a little better.
Would you think it would be tough to create a movie where it's
based around that sequel, or
have a woman living with the Predators?
I don't
holding
know
her own with the fucking Predators. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't. I think it works in a comic book. I don't think it would work for a movie.
Yeah. I mean, if they took Arnold, you know, in
that
Predator,
would be different.
he'd be leading the fucking Predators by the end of the movie. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say never, but I would definitely watch it if they made it.
Of course.
I mean, these are franchises that no matter what they put out, I'm always going to watch.
No, I got you.
But yeah, how do you find the script? Like, come to the end, I was like, I would 100% watch this movie.
Yeah, I would check it out. I'm not, I'm not crazy about the newer Alien or just the Predator movies, but reading it, I would see in the trailer, I'd probably scoff at it.
Yeah.
That's just my view of it, but reading it, I thought it was all right. A bit light on the dialogue. I'm sure that you could get some good cast of characters to really.
I definitely feel like the script moves slow, but maybe the editing of the movie could make it a little quicker.
No.
Quick pacing is what this would need.
Yeah.
It is a long script. It's like 125 pages, which is like
of setting. Everything is setting.
Yeah, it's like 20 pages more than your average script.
Right.
So.
When I first opened it on my phone and I just scrolled the first couple pages, it was just blocks and blocks of text, and I was like, holy shit.
Which is nowadays
it's a Predator movie. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, nowadays that's generally not how things would be done.
Yeah. I would think that, CGI this, a little bit of that, and we got ourselves a fucking blockbuster.
Yeah.
Which I'm never a fan of. If you're gonna do it, go fucking full H.R. Geiger, give me all the art you could find, make it fucking awesome, and don't green screen me.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like I enjoy the comic, and this is a really good adaptation of the comic. It's definitely different, because I know you didn't get to read through all the comic books.
Right.
I would actually recommend reading it. It is pretty good.
Yeah.
And the sequel too. But yeah, I definitely feel like there was some more stuff in the comic that could have been put in the movie and made it a little more entertaining.
Sure.
But like if this movie came out like other than the one we got, I think I would have been a little happier with it if they kept the tone of violence and things like that. Because again, as I said, the only problem that I have with that movie is that it's rated PG-13.
Yeah, no, they need to go all out if they're pulling this kind of shit.
Yeah, you can't do an Alien and Predator movie and make them not rated R.
Yeah, everyone's gonna die. This is space.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. People are gonna die.
The originals, both original franchises, established themselves as hard rated R movies, and deviating from that is where you go wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I actually had a lot of fun. It was definitely a little tough to read, but like envisioning it as a movie, I had a lot of fun. And I would totally see this movie if they made it today.
Yeah, I would. I'd give it I'd check it out.
Yeah,
totally.
Like definitely not gonna blow you away or anything, but you would have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, do you have any final thoughts on the movie?
One of the I guess we went over. I guess what am I trying to say? We went over it. We forgot. My apologies. Yeah, we forgot the a chainsaw kill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with where.
Which is also, there would have been all sorts of problems for that guy.
All sorts of problems. Blood fucking everywhere. Yeah. People just burning from acid.
The setup is the guys in the auto shop. The aliens start coming in through the floor.
Right.
And one climbs on top of this truck and leaps at this guy.
Yeah.
And he catches it under the chin with a chainsaw. Which, first of all, he's going to be sprayed with massive amounts of acid and he's going to die.
Oh my
God.
God.
But no. The script's problem with him is the chainsaw like breaks and the chain slices across his chest.
Yeah, it gets stuck and the chain flies out, I guess, and it fucking penetrates him, which is That's not bad. I'm okay
No,
with
that's
that.
a pretty
But,
good.
Yeah, outside of the blood that should burn him to
Yeah,
death. See, it
it's
should
like-
be burning him, and then the kill shot comes from the chain.
Yeah, but I mean, they say he's probably gonna die, but he
Yeah.
sticks around for a little while. Like they're basically trying to
fucking
keep him
kidding me.
alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that should have just been a straight up kill shot, which is a great creative kill. But yeah, the blood alone would have been
Yeah.
enough to take that guy down.
Yeah, so I wrote in my notes here when Hiroko had put on this suit, and they
Yeah,
called it
that
a
was-
fetishist's dream.
I screenshotted that, and I forgot to bring that up
And,
as well.
You know,
That was
not
a little
that it's
weird.
a big thing. I know it's a very small throwaway line.
Yeah, but it is one of those things like, really?
But when I
Like,
did read it, I thought to myself, I was like, of course they have to throw in some kind of sex in there.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit, just to fucking whet your appetite.
yeah,
Because,
I felt the same way.
Yeah, you know, oh, here's the sexy part. Okay,
Yeah.
I can't be all fucking killing.
And throwing in that line made it that much more obvious.
Yeah,
It
because I was wondering. I was like, man, this girl must be wearing some kind of skin tight latex or something.
Yeah, it's like, is that
is there
really
a point
necessary?
to that? Yeah, right. And that,
just because she's going in the sewers,
right. And then I realized I was like, oh, she's wearing a helmet. Okay, she's going
Yeah.
underwater.
Which
All
they
right,
do.
now
They
I-
do give her a cool like Iron Man style helmet that
Right,
has like
right.
the readouts and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I had fun. It
Yeah.
was. It's actually. I feel like we definitely gotta change up our scripts. I think maybe throw a romantic comedy in there somewhere. You know.
I just added like 300 new scripts to my list.
Okay. All right, cool.
Because I added like 3 or 4 years of Blacklist scripts.
Okay.
So I have a lot of those.
Yeah,
So-
no, it's something where I could fucking sink my teeth into some dialogue and some characters.
Oh, I
you know?
definitely have some of those.
Cool, cool.
I'll send you my new list. It's
All right.
it's huge now. So and I got all the new ones marked, so it's easy to
Good,
tell
good,
which ones.
awesome.
All right, man. But
Well, had a great time.
yeah.
Always a pleasure to come on talk movies.
Yeah,
and,
this
scripts.
was one I was really looking forward to getting to, and I think it was a lot of fun to talk
yeah,
about.
Totally. Yeah, I enjoyed reading and expounding upon it.
Yeah, and we definitely have a trend of like the ones we read are movies I would like to see.
Yeah.
Like most of all, like because At the Mountains of Madness was another one.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Thanks for listening, and thanks everybody else for listening.
Thank you.